بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Alhamdulillah, we begin with the praise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and by sending the best of salutations, peace and blessings upon his last and final messenger Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Inshallah, tonight I'd like to talk about a very important aspect of our deen, of our faith, of our life, and that is beseeching the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or calling out to Rabbul Alameen subhanahu wa ta'ala. In simple terms, dua. Now think for a moment, subhanallah, it is our fitrah, it is our nature that when there is a turbulent moment in our life, when we're going through difficult and tough times, by default, our fitrah, which is pristine and pure, it calls out to Allah, whether willingly or unwillingly. To such a degree, even a person who doesn't believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, at time of panic, he goes, oh God, oh God, 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 oh God. His fitrah is calling out to Allah, even though they don't believe in Rabbul Alameen subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, if that is the case of a non-believer, imagine how sensitive, fragile, and special of a moment we as believers have with Allah when we call out to Him, because of what we're going through. Allah mentions this in the Quran, أَمَّن يُجِيبُ الْمُضْطَرَّ إِذَا دَعَاهُ وَيَكْشِفُ السُّوءَ. Who is there who answers your call when you make that call of distress, and then Allah removes and takes away the pain or that moment or that difficulty or that trial that you were in? He removes it from your path and from your way. How? A mere dua, simply calling out to Allah. Now, do you understand, subhanallah, how important and what a vital act of ibadah dua is within our faith? That without dua, what would we be? Who would we be? And the beauty of dua, it transcends time and people. Subhanallah, we're talking about a'malu salihah and how when we do them, perform them in this world, we see an immediate result and effect. We're rewarded in this dunya, and then the bigger, greater chunk or the bigger percentage of reward is reserved for us in the akhirah. When we make dua, not only does Allah answer our dua in this world, but inshallah there'll be plenty more that He will answer on the day of Qiyamah. And on top of it, dua can go from a person to person, meaning me making dua, not for myself, but for you, it can be answered as well. Me making dua, not only for my children, but for your children can be answered as well. Me making dua for my life and the life of my family to be in safety and security is good and well enough. But this dua can extend out to your family, to your life, to your well-being, and to the prosperity of your children and the coming generations as well. So dua, it knows no limit, knows no bound, it knows no time. You make dua today, we're in the year 2024, and I say, Ya Allah, protect us from all the fitan and all the trials and tribulations that the world is facing today. Ya Allah, protect and preserve our iman. Ameen. The fitna that we know of today are very infant-like compared to the fitan that are yet to come our way or that the world has to see tomorrow. And if my dua and your dua can become accepted tonight, that Allah protect and preserve our iman, and inshallah, regardless of how big of trials may come tomorrow, this dua will carry on beyond today and go into tomorrow. So see, if you just think to see how dua works, and Allah Azza wa Jal, subhanAllah, becomes upset when we do not ask Him for His mercy, for His love, for His forgiveness, for anything that we want in life, and we don't ask Him. Allah becomes upset. The hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu ad-du'a'u mukhul ibadah, that prayer, calling out to Allah, is the very essence, it's the very core. Call it the soul of your ibadah. Now, in a way, what good is a body without a soul? It's lifeless, motionless. It will not hear, it will not speak, it will not bring you any benefit. To a degree, subhanallah, it's as if it's just a statue, a stone, a corpse, a lifeless corpse. It can bring no benefit because there's no soul in it. When, subhanallah, our ibadah becomes soulless, think of what good it would do. We need to make sure and be certain that our ibadah, our acts of virtues that we do, have a soul within them. That we're mindful, we're, subhanAllah, aware of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at time of worshipping, at time of doing what we're doing, that we're doing whatever we're doing for the sake of Allah, and we're constantly beseeching Allah's mercy, His forgiveness, and calling out to Him by making dua. Subhanallah, one very important lesson that our cook, chef, who taught me this during my, subhanallah, years of education within Darul Uloom. And it's a very profound statement. It stuck to me until this today, and I pass it on to people as well. He said to me that whoever you meet in life, make sure to ask them to make dua for you, because you, Usman, never know whose dua will become accepted in the sight of Allah. It was subhanallah, he just said it. They say out in the blue, he just said it. And it stuck to me that really, there's 20, 30, 40 of us, subhanallah. If I were to ask all of you to make dua for me, who knows? Allah knows best. Who amongst you is mustajib ad-da'wat? Right? That Allah just answers your call. So isn't it my fortune, and how lucky am I to request you to make dua for me, and when you raise your hand or you make that dua from your heart for me in my favor, Allah will accept it? We don't know whose dua becomes accepted in the sight of Allah and whose doesn't. So the lesson was to make sure that ask anyone you meet, make dua for me. Make dua for me. And inshallah, someone's dua will become accepted. So speaking about dua, it literally means a calling out to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And dua, that call is the very essence, core of our ibadah. Especially in our day and age, make a habit of calling out to Allah, making dua to Allah for your needs and your wants and even your desires. No harm in that. But make a habit of asking Allah. Our downfall, our shortcoming, speaking of the majority, not all, is we only turn to Allah at time of need. We only turn to Allah at time of need. We only give sadaqah at time of need. We only offer additional salah at time of need. We only choose or think or assume to change our way from evil to good at time of need. And when that need is fulfilled, as how merciful Allah is, He fulfills that need, we turn back to our old ways. We may not be seen in the masjid again until another time of need appears in our life. We may stop giving in charity, in sadaqah, until another dire situation appears in our life. We may go back to our old ways until another reminder, vibration, shaking up in life comes our way. And this is subhanallah, it's become our second nature. When we're living a pleasantful life, there is no dua to be in life. But the moment it becomes turbulent and someone falls ill or sick or lack of funds or something along those lines where you feel that, yeah, I'm not doing so well. And then all of a sudden, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah. Now, even then, how merciful is Allah that He's allowing us to raise our hands and call out to Him in our time of need. How many people are there in the world who still aren't given that ability to be able to beseech or call out to Allah even in their time of need, and the very person goes, further spirals in their confusion, or in that state of destruction that they're in. And as for believers, alhamdulillah, we have Allah to call out to. And never assume for a moment that I'm making dua and it's not being answered. No, never assume that. Shaitan would want you to think that. I made dua. SubhanAllah, I was just thinking tonight, I should start shortening my lectures. I was really thinking to start shortening my lectures, maybe give a little bit more time to dhikr wa adhkar. But as Maulana would mention, inshallah khair, I'll just continue with my normal routine. We do both? Oh, yeah, everyone's going to run away. We're not going to see them go. It's become a part of our nature in today's society in wanting to have whatever we want immediately, instantly. We want things right away. We no longer have that element of patience left in us. This could be applied in nearly every situation. We want things right away. I don't want to wait. If I want to be successful in life, it needs to happen now. If I want to be a millionaire, it has to happen overnight. If I want, my dream to come true, I can't afford to wait 10, 15, 20 years. I need that dream to come into fruition tomorrow. Like, let me fall asleep, wake up, and everything should be there. This has become more or less our approach to life. SubhanAllah, I once gave a little bit of humor about this. I think it all started from instant noodles. You know those instant noodles? Right? Have you heard of that? You just put it in the microwave for 30 seconds, instant noodles, you have your meal. It takes time to cook and prepare a meal. But we're a generation of, instant noodles. 30 seconds in the microwave and there you go, have your meal, have your lunch or dinner. And the same can be said for anything and everything else. It's the age of microwave. Just 30 seconds and you get what you have, what gets prepared for you, which on average would take about an hour or two, but here it's done in 30 seconds. And not only that, there are so many other cases. For example, think of it this way. We become restless and start to lose patience even when filling up our own gas, our cars with fuel. It's taking too long. What? Is the pump running slow today? Why is it taking so long? And subhanAllah, it's just anywhere and everywhere you go, you get in line. Why is the line so long? The cashier's a little slow today. Why don't they open the rest of the counters? Like, what's happening? As if, subhanAllah, the truth be told, we are so used to a fast-paced lifestyle that we no longer want to wait for anything. I want to have anything and everything I want now. Whereas Allah continues to mention in the Quran, Ya ayyuhal ladhina amanu sabiru wa sabiru wa rabitu wa inna Allah ma'as sabirin. SubhanAllah, the lesson and the teachings we find that Allah is with the patient ones. Allah is with those who are patient. Now this, we're talking about our worldly matters, which have obviously trickled down to our spiritual aspect as well. We make dua, Ya Allah, I want this, subhanakallahumma, or subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun ala rabbil alamin. You're like, okay, I'm looking, I'm waiting. Something's going to happen any moment now. My dua is going to become true. It's going to materialize. Maybe let me make it again. Once someone said, about this brick. They said right after salah, usually the tendency is we take our phone and have a look at it. And someone said, it's as if we look to see whether we're receiving a divine message from the skies that your salah became accepted. Right? So when we chose and willingly started to live that type of a lifestyle where everything is immediate or instant, or subhanallah. And that's just the day and age we're in. It's all about, they say time is money. It's all about that experience, of that flawless experience, instantaneous of anything and everything. The same mindset has come down to our faith. When we make dua, we become impatient. Why isn't my dua becoming accepted? Like, I made dua to Allah, I asked for this, but now it's still the same. Subhanallah, don't judge your dua. Don't judge your dua for what your dua is doing for you. Only if you had known, you would have apologized to your very dua for being rude to it. Dua is a powerful tool. Rasulullah has mentioned, "Ad-du'a silah al-mu'min." That dua is the weapon of a believer. How could it be that we as believers start to think and assume that we're not armed, we're not equipped, we don't have the necessary things that we need to protect ourselves and others around us? We have dua. And truth be told, yes, the current global events, we're always making dua for our brothers and sisters in Palestine and Gaza and all the other places. Continue to make dua. Don't assume and think that your du'as are not becoming accepted. They are. The enemies of Allah know that your du'as are working. It's just we don't know, subhanallah. We need to continue in making dua as much as we can. And Rasulullah has mentioned this within the narration, that the near message of the hadith is that a believer's dua is continuously accepted for as long as he does not become despondent, or he does not give up, or becomes hopeless that his dua will become accepted or won't become accepted. So your dua is guaranteed to become accepted in time. Everything has its time. We, subhanAllah, think of it this way. It is the deen of Allah which dictates how we should live our life. Not that we dictate the deen of Allah as to how I should live. Right? It's truly Allah instructs, and His Messenger ﷺ have told us how to live our lives, and we should abide by that. But sometimes we get carried away and start to assume, I will only take from the deen or from Islam or from the Sunnah which is appeasing, pleasing, to a degree practical to me, that I think it's manageable and I can do. I'll take it. The rest, that's it. Subhanallah. So when it comes to dua, never become hopeless. Don't feel that your dua is not working or it's fruitless. There are so many, subhanAllah, merits mentioned about dua, how when we call out to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, our dua is accepted with a guarantee, whether we see it immediately or not, but it's kind of stored and reserved for us. And subhanAllah, if I'm not mistaken, there's another narration of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that on the day of Qiyamah, a person will come before Allah, and the amount of treasure he would find of his before Allah, and when inquiring that, Ya Allah, what is this? Like, what is this? And whose is this? It will be told, this is yours. This is your treasure. These are your hasanat. These are your, good deeds. And then upon further inquiry, he would find out that these are all the du'as you made in the dunya, which you did not see come into fruition, but Allah had stored them for the akhirah. And that person would, at that moment, wish that, Ya Allah, I would wish that none of my du'as became accepted in the dunya. I would have loved to see them all here in the akhirah. Subhanallah, I'll end here. Another example, just to kind of tell you the power of dua in our current time, to better understand it based on our understanding. Think of this dua it's a currency. Now, what's a currency? Right? In medium of exchange. Each country, each nation has a currency of their own. So, for example, the currency, obviously, of the US is the US dollar, USD. The pound, is it more stronger than the dollar, right? Right? The Canadian dollar is a little less than the US dollar. Anyone know the strongest currency of the world? Is it the pound? Kuwait. Dinar, right? Oh man, alhamdulillah, we're still up there, right? Okay, let's go with the Kuwait, because alhamdulillah, Muslims, inshallah, we're still at the top. Right? What about the lowest currency? From Sri Lanka? Zimbabwe? Okay, so let's just assume this. Whatever the lowest currency, Imagine you take a Kuwaiti dinar and you're given 1,000 of them, and you bring that to the US. Man, you can live comfortable for your vacation that you're here for. Now, imagine you taking the currency of a nation which is the lowest in the entire world, and you take that to Kuwait. Like, man, I think I came to a wrong stop. I should just head right back. The currency matters. We may not understand the value or the currency of dua in this dunya, but wait until you get to akhirah and see how heavy and how big and subhanallah in large sum the currency of dua will be shown to you in the akhirah. And now you can live comfortably for all eternity. Forget about making a pit stop or a transit. This currency is going to inshallah last you for all eternity. This is that dua. And the time to earn it or mint it is now, in this dunya. So make a habit, especially in the month of Ramadan, the remaining few days, short days we have left, as a practical advice to myself, as a reminder, and to you as well. On a serious note, write down some of the things you want for yourself and for others that you want to ask Allah for. Write them down. And then make and call out to Allah, make all those du'as every day and every night until the very end of Ramadan. This way, you can actually put your thought to paper. You can actually pen down, the deepest prayers that you have in your mind and heart. Sit down. There has to be something I want from Allah. There has to be something. You think about it and then you realize what you want. Write that down. And then likewise, write a few du'as. Keep that piece of paper with you and make dua. Call out to Allah and asking for all those du'as every day and every night. And inshallah, see the difference that will make for you in your life. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us right and ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم وصلى الله تبارك وتعالى على خير خلق محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.